Oh, hi class. Welcome back to the video lectures. And today's this video, we are going to go over the exam number 3 review. And I'm going to break this one into several videos, so you'll be able to see maybe 3 or 5 problems at a time, and you don't get overwhelmed by the 2 hours reviews here. Okay. And also, for the exam number 3, the total points, I'm going to put it as 110 points. Because like in the previous 2 exams, we have exam review. If you turn in the exam review, you can get 10 points extra. But now, since we go online, we cannot turn in the exam review. So what I plan to do is just give 110. So if you go over the review and you're doing very well, and you still can get another 10 extra points for the exams here. All right. So now let's take a look. So let's take a look at the problem number 1 here. So I hope you guys will have time to review this. And so the problem number 1, they tell you find the present value of 42,000 in 8 years with 5% interest rate. Okay. So like now, so they want to find, so what do we want to find here? We want to find the present values. And so we know the interest rate is 5%. See here, okay? And then, you hope that after n years, so let's put the t, it's better. So let's say the t is the number of the years, so it's 8 years. So after 8 years, right, and you want to have your value 42,000. So the 42,000 is your future value. So basically, is what is this looks like. So this is your time period, right? So this is the total. This is 8 years. And then at here, at here, you want to, at the end of 8 years, you want to get a 42. When you withdraw, you want to get a 42,000. So that's why the problem asks you how much you need to deposit here. Okay, so that's what this is, we call this is your present values. Okay, so we have 2 ways the interest was compounding. So the first ones here is, we say this is a compounding semi-annually. That means every year they were going to compound twice. All right. So now let me go to pull up the TI calculator. Let me show you how do we use the TI calculator to do the calculations here. Will make your calculations way easier. Okay, so let's turn that on. Okay, so let's clear the screen. We do the apps and the finance, TM solver. Okay, so in here, we total have 8 years, right? But I'm compounding semi-annually. That means the total period I'm going to get some money is what? Is 16, right? So it's 2 per year for 8 years, 16. And then going here, the interest rate is 5%. And clear the present value and clear the payment. And now the future value we want to get is 42,000. Okay. Then the payments here, the payments here is like the semi-annually, right? So I have 2, so the compounding 2. Okay, so now I'm going to be able to calculate my present value. So I go back here, so I say the alpha and the result. So the present value is 28292.25, okay? Now let me go back to my whiteboard. Okay, so based on the calculator, I got my present value is 28292 0.25. Okay. Okay, now for the part B is here. They said instead of compounding certain period, I'm compounding continuously. Remember, if we compounding continuously, I cannot use the TI/HTML solvers here. So what I need to do, I'm using this formula. This is PERT, P-E-R-T. And if you guys still remember, the E is one of those irrational number, like 2.7182, something like the pi's, right? So now we need to use the PERT formula to do that. So in here, I know still the same thing. You know, my present value, you know, future values here is 42,000. This is my A, will be equal to the present value times the E. R is 0.05. So when we try to use the PERT formulas here, and the T here is always year, right? So in here we have 8 years. So this will be times 8. So this will be the P and the E to the 0.4. So in order to get the P value, so I can divide by E to the 0.4 both sides, right? So E to the 0.4 both sides. Then I will get my present value is equal to 42,000 divided by E to the 0.4 here. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I use the calculator to get this. Let me flip back to my calculator. Okay, so my calculator is here. So I need to get out of this screen. So this is a 42,000, right? So it's a 42,000 divided by E. E is under the ln, so you do a second ln, then you say the 0.4. Okay, and then you hit enter. You got a 1,28,153.44. Okay, let me go back to my whiteboard. Okay. Okay, so now based on the calculator, I can get this ones here is 28,153.44. Okay, so that's the different way. How do you find the present value? And by using, you know, the TI-84's calculators here. Okay, now that's fine, right? So okay, so let's go to the next problems here. Let me go to the next pages here. Okay, so this is the problem number 2 here. So the problem number 2 is we want to find the future value. So every time you just write it out, I'm going to find the future value. And then the part A, they said, I'm going to deposit 1,300, right? So the deposit 1,300, that means the 1,300 here, this will be my payment, right? So this will be my payment at the end of every years, right? For 10 years. So N to T is equal to 10 years. And the interest rate still is what? Is 5% here. And then I'm going to compounding annually, right? So compounding annually. And when I'm going to pay this payment, I pay this payment at the end of each year, right? So at the end of each year. So basically, so if you take a look at these ones here, you have 10 years, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so at 10 years, right? So that means your payment here at the end of each years. So you are paying 1,300 at the end of each years. Then you want to see at here, if you want to withdraw, then how much? So this will be your future value. So the part B, let's say at the beginning of each year. So the part B basically is like here. So instead of at the end of this year, so this is to say, hey, I'm going to deposit at the beginning. So this is a part B, right? This is how the part B's payments due. So here, okay. So now we can use the calculator to get the things here. Part B, all the information is the same. The only difference is here is at the beginning of each year. Okay, so now let me go to use the calculator and see what, let me switch back to the TI-84 calculator and see what we got here. So I'm going to the calculator, share. Okay, so now, okay, so, okay, we do the apps here, finance, TVM solver. So N's here, it will be what? The N's here is will be 10 because I have 10 years, but I'm compounding annually, right? So it's 10. If the problem say I compounding semi-annually, that would be 20, right? So the interest rate still is 5%. And then we're going to clear out the present value. So remember, now I have a payment because at the end of each year, so the payment is 1,300. So remember the payment is the amount you out the pocket. So you put a negative 1,300 there, right? And then we clear out here. And now the payment, how many you have? Once. And compounding once. You're doing at the end. So I want to find my future value. You say alpha, solve. So your answers here is 16351.26. Okay, let's remember this. Then let's do the same things for the part B, so we don't need to switch back and forth. So let me clear this one out. And the part B, they say, hey, I'm doing this payment at the beginning, so I need to change this to beginning. So you move to the beginning. Now you go back to the future values, right? So you do a alpha, calculate, and you got a 17168.82. Okay, so now let me go back here and let me go back to the whiteboards here. Let me share again. So based on the future, the calculator, if you deposit at the end of each year, and your total future amount is 16. I hope I wrote one right. 16351.26, right? That's how much value you're going to get in 10 years. And if you deposit at the beginning of each year, so your future values here going to be how much here is 17168 and 0.82. Okay. Okay. That's what is the problem number 2. Okay, so it's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's go to take a look at problem number 3. Problem number 3, this is type of the problem is very common. So when you probably had this experience before. Okay, so in the spring 2019, some dealers they offer a cashback allowance $4,000, or you can get a zero finance for 72 months on Chevrolet Silverado. Okay, so you have 2 ways to do it. Okay, one way is here. you get a $4,000 allowance. Okay, so what is allowance mean? That means whatever the car's price, they drop down 4,000. Or they will say is 0% interest for 72 months. Okay. So now that's what we talk about. So part A is here. The part A, they said if Dave choose the 0% for 72 months, and this Chevrolet, the Silverado, cost $30,000. And so what is Dave's payment? Because here, right, because the 30,000, right, so the total cost, right, so the cost for the truck is 30,000. Okay, because Dave is choose the 0.0%. That means that he doesn't have to pay any interest. So his payment will just be 30,000 divided by what? Divided by 72 months. That's pretty straightforward, right? So because he doesn't have to pay any like the interest, so Dave's payment will be $416.67. Okay, so this is Dave's payment. Okay, then Mary said, well, I don't want to do the 0%. So Mary choose a cashback. So he want to get a cashback. And then Mary also get a car loan at 3.18% for 48 months. Okay, so Mary can get a car loan for 3.18% for 48 months. That means 4 years, right? And then she will get a $4,000 allowance. What's that mean? That means now the present value for the Mary's car is going to be only 30,000 minus 4,000. So it will be 26,000. That is how much because she got the $4,000 back. So right now the car is only the present value is 26,000, right? So now let's use the calculator to calculate Mary's payment. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the calculator. Okay, now so switch back to the calculators here. Now see here. Okay, so now let's see here. Hey, what's wrong with my calculator? Okay, so that's good. Okay, clear that out. So we will do apps and the finance. Okay, so now TVM calculator. So now Mary is 48 months, right? So it's 4 years. So total numbers here is 48. The interest rate is 3.18. And the present value, remember, is 26,000 because she got $4,000 cash back. Let's clear this out. And let's clear out the future values here. Okay, clear out. Okay, now, because monthly, right? So the payment per year is 12. And also the compounding per year is 12. And the typical we pay the payment is at the end of each one. So here, right? Okay, now let's go back to see how much my payments here. So I do the alpha calculate. So my Mary's payment here is $577.56. Okay, so let me go back to my whiteboard here. Okay, so based on the calculator, so the Mary's payment here will be equal to $577 $577.56 per month. Okay, and now, okay, so let's kind of, this is from the calculators, right? So this is from the calculator. Then part C, let's say, hey, let's take a look at which deal is better. Why? Okay, so let's take a look at total payment. If you pay less, that is better, right? So let's take a look at total payment for Dave. Since he has no interest rate, so the total payment, Dave pays 30,000, right? Because 30,000 divided by 72. Then let's take a look at the total payment for Mary. So Mary's monthly payment is high, so it's 577.56. But Mary only need to pay 48 months, so it's times 48. So what is here? So is it? I think it's 27,722, and let me see here. It's 57756. 57756 times 48. So it's 27722 and 88 cents, right? So you will see overall Mary pay less, right? So I know the Mary's deal is better because the total payment Mary pay less here. Okay, so we get it. Okay, so for the first video, I'm going to stop at the problem number 3 because we finished all these payment things, annuity things. Then start the next one, we're going to do the next set of the problems. I think we're going to deal with the probabilities here. Okay, so make sure don't wait until the last minutes to review those tape. So make sure you review this tape, you know how to do the problems, and then cover it up, and hopefully you can be reproduced by yourself, right? So then in that sense, then you know how to do it, right? Okay, so it's nice to be able to do the test review with you guys, and so I'm going to stop here, and so the next set video, make sure you review all the videos here, okay?